All right, let's get this thing started. I want to say good afternoon to everyone. Good morning to my friends on the West Coast that have joined. We have a ton of clients on the line, but we also have people who don't know anything about Reminder Media. So really thankful for all of you guys joining us today. I'm excited to share with you guys, spring cleaning your listing ads, really giving you the opportunity to see how to spruce up your ads to get you more return on investment, to help you sell your homes faster. And so I know one thing for sure is I've been working with realtors for years now, and I have family in the business that I talk to every day. And I know the spring market's upon us. It is super busy. We have buyers coming out of the woodwork. We have low inventory. We're trying to work with sellers. And so I know you guys' time is super valuable, and I want to honor that. And I want to keep this thing super brief and succinct, but try to jam-pack as much value as I possibly can for you in these few minutes. But before we get started on the webinar, I thought it'd be appropriate to kind of share who I am, who Reminder Media is, and why you guys should even listen, to us. My name's Luke Acree. I'm the president of Reminder Media. We are a sales and marketing company. We have been in business for about 14 years now, and really helping, businesses with what I say is the most critical thing in your business is how do you make sure that everybody that you're connected to, for lack of a better word, everybody in your community, if they woke up today and they needed a realtor, they would think of you. And that's been my specialty. We work with just about 30,000 realtors, really helping them connect with their client database. So you might be asking yourself right now, then why, Luke, are you doing a webinar on cleaning up listing ads and helping create listing ads that get properties sold? And the reason why is because in the 14 years of doing this, we have had to become experts on creating collateral, particularly listing ads for our clients because they want to feature those listing ads on their magazine. They want to feature those listing ads in our digital products. And so we've really had years and years of trial and error of trying to create listing ads that shine through, that get you the best return on investment. So on this webinar, I want to focus on telling you what to focus on when marketing your listing ad and how to make each component of that listing ad really shine through. So without further ado, let's get started. And I think it's good to start with showing you some of the listing ads we've recently received from clients. Now, of course, I've made them anonymous. These are pictures of some of my staff here. But I thought it'd be a good idea to show you kind of what not to do. These aren't horrible by any means, so I don't want to beat anybody up. But this kind of gives you a good feel of what you probably shouldn't do with the listing ad. They're cluttered. There's not really good design. It's not flowing very smoothly. And then what I want to do is on this last ad, we received this a couple weeks ago, and I want to walk through this ad piece by piece and break down for you guys the roadmap that we use to help create this ad and take it from a so-so ad to really a stellar ad that, really, for lack of a better word, is going to cut you through the noise, make a wow factor and impact for the person who's seeing it so they actually get drawn to it and pay attention. And I want to walk you guys through the headline. I want to walk you through the design, the description, photography, and last but not least, the call to action. So diving right in, I know one thing for sure, that first impression is key, and people are making their first impressions within 7 seconds. And the truth is, this is a pet peeve of mine. You're going to hear me share it throughout the webinar, that the attention span of human beings today is like less than 5 seconds. It's less than a gnat. We see this all the time on social media. So it's so critical that you really draw in your prospect with an intriguing headline. And I think it was David Ogilvy. He was a tycoon marketing guru and considered one of the founding fathers of marketing, who said, if you have $1 to spend on marketing, spend 80 cents of that dollar on the headline. It's so critical that you create an eye-catching headline. So what I've done on this ad right away is I've thought to myself, what is a great headline that I can put on here? And I put perfect location, big bold letters right up there, because I'm trying to intrigue the prospect. And if you go back to the original ad, you'll see there really wasn't a headline in this ad. I'm not sure what they were kind of going for. You have Shannon Realty up at the top. The headline probably is the 825 Restler Mill, but it's not very intriguing. It's not drawing you to want to read this ad. And so what you want to focus on when creating a headline is you want to focus on something that's intriguing. For those in sales, we're all in sales. You know, when you're doing your pitch, you want a bold statement, a power claim. You want to basically shout something out that either gets your prospect to want to know the answer to what you're shouting out or wants to know why you're shouting that out. So perfect location, what's the next stop that comes to your mind? Well, what is the perfect location? What are you talking about? Others that we have seen success with over the years is check this out, see it to believe it, your dream home awaits. And the key here is to do something that's very eye-catching that stands out. One thing you want to stay away from, and the mistake I think we tend to make on headlines, and this even applies to subject lines in emails, is that we know that a prospect is going to catch the headline. We know they're going to give us that split second of time, so we try to cram so much information into that headline, and then it actually does a disservice and ruins your headline. So you want to keep your headlines to a few words. Don't do a lot of words on your headline. Keep it very succinct. All right, guys, now moving on to the second component would be the design. Now with the design, if I go back, you'll notice this person had a ton of different colors. Colors are good. They can be used strategically to help you draw in someone. But at the end of the day, if you overload your ad with colors and try to do the rainbow, obviously you're distracting, you're pulling away at the design of your ad. So when it comes to your ad, you really want to look at it as a hierarchy. You want to have this design hierarchy. One of the most important functions in your design hierarchy is to establish the focal point, giving your viewer an entry point to start navigating your design, showing them where the most important information is. So if you notice, that's really my headline. I've made my headline really stand out as the focal point of this ad. And then what I've used is I've used font now to direct the journey of my potential prospect. So I've made my headline the focal point, the biggest feature, and then I've now subsequently gone down, and 825 Resler Mill is where I want them to go specifically next. Now you've got to think about your fonts this way. Think about your fonts as personality types, believe it or not. So you know some personality types are loud, some are flamboyant, some are more quiet, interesting. When you're picking your font types, you want to think of your font types as personalities. What are you trying to communicate through this message? When it comes to using like scripty fonts, stay away from your descriptions and your contact information. Don't use scripty fonts on your description, your contact information, or your call to action, because they're harder to read and you want that information to be very clear. Use your script fonts more for your headlines, your focal points. Some good fonts to choose from for your copy, like your description, would be serif or sans serif. Now, with your design, the main thing that you would want to get across is you would want to get across to keep it simple. Don't clutter up your design. All right, guys, moving on now to your description. Now, here's the thing with description that I see constantly, and I think my marketers and my graphics people would say this, scream this from the rooftops, is that when you're writing your description, the mistake we tend to make is we write a description for a listing aimed of what we think sounds good, almost written to us because we're the one writing it. The problem with that is if you're writing a description for you, you have to ask yourself, would you buy this home? You need to think of the audience that you're writing to. So who's going to buy this home? Is it going to be a single male? Is it going to be a family with 3 kids? You want to make sure that you get creative and you target that audience. Now, on the original, I've pulled it up here on the screen. On the original ad that we got, it just stated really the features and the stats of the home. So it stated this single-family home, 1,600 square feet, has a 1-car garage, 2 bedrooms, etc. All this is good. You need this information. Your prospect wants to know about this information. But the problem here is you haven't created any emotion for your prospect. You haven't evoked any emotion for them. So what I've done, I've taken this description and I've tried to use some descriptive adjectives and tried to really help the prospect envision themselves in the home. And I want to show you just how simple you can change the way someone feels, because if you notice in the original, it says this single family home, and I simply put this lovely single family home. Just a simple word, but it helps just make some emotional connection to the home. And then what you want to showcase and make sure you state in your description is something about the location. Let your prospect know what their life would be like if they lived in this home. So I simply put, family home is situated in a tree-lined neighborhood that's within walking distance to downtown. Now I've given them kind of a, a vision of what their life could be like if they lived there, that they could walk to downtown, that it's in a tree-lined neighborhood. And as you can see, my point is what you're trying to do is you're trying to connect them emotionally to the house. Another thing that you guys would want to make sure you put into your descriptions when you're writing them is you want to highlight the upgrades that have been done. You want to call out name brands that you have in the house. You can do expansion possibilities if that's a possibility for your listing. But it's key that you actually showcase that they've done work on the house. I've seen a lot of listings recently where they're not even saying, hey, we recently updated the eat-in kitchen. But again, you're trying to tell the story. You're trying to direct your prospect saying that, hey, that's going to put a thought in their mind that there's quality there. When it comes to calling out name brands, a lot of realtors get confused when I say put that in your description. The reason why I say that is because these brands have spent millions of dollars trying to build a story and push a message to you. If I say Coca-Cola right now, how does that make you feel? If I say Corona, I bet you're probably thinking of a beach, because Corona has tried for years and years to push the story of if you drink a Corona, you're at a beach. And you get to capitalize on that when you call out these name brands in your description. So when I say GE Appliances, I get to capitalize on all the money they've spent on their brand, that this is an innovative company, that they have quality, and I get to capitalize that and leverage that in my description. So make sure you're calling out your name brands when you're writing a description. And then finally, and I think most important, is that keep the principle that less is more. Again, this is a consistent theme when it comes to advertising. You're going to see this consistently in every component. But the truth is, don't overload your description with every fact, with every feature of the home. One, people won't read it, and it's going to be confusing. And I got great advice. I used to, be a musician. I played all the time, wanted to be in a rock band. And one of my music teachers growing up told me, Luke, you have to understand in music, there's just as much beauty in the silence as there is when you play the note, because the accumulation of the silence in the note is what tells the story. And that's a principle that you need to live by in your advertising, that there's just as much beauty in the blank space as there is in the filler. And so when you're writing your description, don't try to put every fact, everything you can think of to try to sell the home. It's just going to become a negative. All right, moving on to your photos. And if you remember, I gave you a quote that I think it was David Ogilvy that said, spend 80 cents of every dollar on the headline. I think we're seeing a shift in marketing, especially in recent years, that you really probably are going to have to start spending 80 cents of every dollar on pictures. And I think we see this in social media, particularly when you're scrolling through Instagram and you're going with your thumb a million miles an hour. I think it's like 7 times faster than a mouse. The only thing that catches you and stops you is like an awe-inspiring picture, something that attracts you, and that's what you need in your listing ads. And this is a very simplistic tip that I give to people when it comes to photos, is that I put on the screen, consider hiring a professional. I would say whenever possible, please hire a professional photographer, because a bad picture is worse really than no picture at all, because this is your chance to intrigue your prospect. And you might be thinking to yourself, Luke, I can't afford a professional photographer. I'm just not in that situation right now. A tip I would give you, and I do this for new agents, when my brother first got into real estate, he didn't have a lot of money, so we actually did this strategy. He went to the local community college, but you could go to the university, and guess what? There's photography classes. There's professors there. And they can point you in the direction of a really talented student. And it's beautiful because it's a great partnership, because this student, they want to find a way to use their passion and really do photography as a profession. And they can either give you a really discounted price, or in essence, they'll give it to you for free for building their portfolio. And it's a great way, if you're on a budget and you can't afford to take professional pictures, to partner with a professor or college and help students build their portfolio, and at the same time, you're getting professional listing photos. Now, when it comes to your photos, I would encourage you, make sure you choose to shoot exterior and interior pictures. This seems obvious, but I have a unique perspective on this right now because I'm in the market for a house. My wife and I are trying to buy a house right now. And one of the things that always shocks me is when I'm getting on like Zillow to look for a home, or I'm getting on Realtor.com, there's still listings on there that don't have pictures of either the exterior, which makes me wonder what's going on, or even worse, if you don't have a bathroom shot in there, or you don't have pictures of the interior, I automatically view it as a negative. But when it comes to your exterior and interior pictures, something to keep in mind is that online you get to feature a lot of images. In print advertisement, you don't. And what we have found over the years that gets the most effect across is if you do an exterior and interior picture, if you're showcasing one listing. So if you're showcasing one listing and you have the ad space, do an exterior and interior shot. Now, if you're doing an ad that is showcasing multiple listings, just stick to doing exterior shots if you have to choose because you don't have the ad space. When it comes to your pictures, tip is to take a ton of them because you don't want to end up at the editing table and not have enough pictures to choose from. But in your pictures, emphasize the best feature of each room. What do I mean by that? Well, in this ad, we said we recently updated the eat-in kitchen. Emphasize that. If that's the best picture of the room, it's just like you're going on a date and you want to emphasize your best qualities because you're just getting to know somebody. You want to do the same for your advertisement and for your listing. So what is it that makes the house unique? Is it the corner nook? Is it the bathroom? Is it the kitchen? Maybe the pool area? Emphasize the best feature to help you attract that person to become interested to get more information. And then photos should make your buyers envision themselves in the home. I got a great tip one time that said, Luke, you know, people are going to buy the home. They're not going to buy what's in the home. And I find this to be true as I'm looking for a home right now. When I see people's furniture choices, which is definitely sometimes not my furniture choice, it's hard for me to envision myself in that home. So you can use staging to do this, or obviously a blank canvas is probably better than showcasing what they already have in the home sometimes. So make sure you're taking photos that help your clients envision themselves in the home. So let's say you can't hire a professional photographer. I do want to give you some DIY tips of what to do if you're shooting your own photography. I would encourage you buy a DSLR camera because that's going to pay for itself probably within 4 to 5 listings. It's usually $400 to $500. You can get a great one right now. But when you're shooting, try to refrain from shooting straight on. This is particularly true when you're shooting pictures on the exterior of the home. If you shoot the house straight on, it kind of comes across 2D and flat. People want to know the depth of the home, so make sure you're shooting from either low or high angles. It helps you showcase the rooms better. Obviously, utilize a tripod because you don't want to put a blurry image up. Again, if I go to a Zillow or a Realtor.com and I see a blurry image, you know, it's such a disservice to our clients who we're selling the homes for to put blurry images up or even upside down images, so keep that in mind. And then any professional photographer would tell you that use natural light whenever possible. Don't use a camera flash. So, you know, if you're going to take a picture at dusk, make sure it's specifically for a dusk shot of the home, that you want to showcase the home, how it looks at dusk. But don't take all your pictures at dusk. You know, a great tip would be to open up the windows when you're shooting in. And then when you're shooting room shots, try to shoot from, you know, the doorway instead of being in the room. And just a point to make of why quality photos matter. You know, this was a study done by Redfin. Homes that are professionally photographed sell for at least $900 more. That's not an insane number that changes the game. I think the next point is even better. That studies show that homes with high quality photos garner 61% more online views. That is the difference between a home sitting on the market or a home selling within a couple weeks. That 61% more online views can be the difference of you moving your home faster simply because you invested in quality photography. So a picture speaks 1,000 words. It does matter. And if you can afford a professional, please use one. Now, on to the final component is the call to action. And this is certainly not the least component. And, you know, why do we do listing ads to begin with? You know, at the end of the day, what we're trying to do, why are we spending our time? Why are we spending our hard-earned money? It's because we want to get that buyer, that prospect, to take action. We want them to, you know, request more information, request a showing. And what I would tell you with your call to action is make sure you only have one call to action per ad. It doesn't mean you can't use it in multiple places, especially for digital marketing, but you don't want to confuse your reader or your prospect on what you want them to do next. And if you go back to the original ad that we got, you notice that there really isn't a call to action here. If you look to the left-hand corner, there is, Stacy Shanner, Realtor, phone number, email, website. So it's semi-like it's telling me what to do, but there's no call to action. And so me as the prospect, I have to decide what I want to do next here. Do I want to call to get more information to Stacy? Do I want to, go get a showing and see this house? I have to decide, and when I have to decide, that's the decision, which takes thought, which takes time, which at the end of the day, I think we can all attest to this, that it ends up on the pile of good ideas on our desk, and we don't take action. And so the key when you're doing your call to action is make it so it's so clear what you're asking your prospect to do. If your prospect has to think about what they need to do next, your call to action isn't clear enough. So if you look in the left-hand corner, I put a call to action that said, call me now to schedule a showing. So it's super clear that I want you to call me, and I want it to be for a showing. And if you notice on the right, I've popped out in bold the corresponding contact information that I would want them to take action on. So obviously you have to put your contact information on your listing ads. You have to be in compliance, but make sure you bring out to the forefront the contact information that you actually want them to take action on. And I would make the point, and this is consistent throughout the whole ad, is that less is more. List only the essential contact information, because you don't need to cram all your ways of being in contact onto this ad, because it's just taking up precious real estate that you don't want to give away. So when it comes to your call to action, the two main things to focus on is make sure you only have one call to action per ad, and make sure that it's clear enough to where your buyer, your prospect, doesn't have to think about what to do next. All right, guys, so here is the before and after of the ad. And as you can tell, we didn't do anything earth-shattering by any means. We simply followed a roadmap, applied some principles that we have proven over 14 years, and now you can see that, the first ad is cluttered. It's not drawing you in. It's hard to even read. But the second ad is very clean. It's very smooth. It's intriguing, perfect location, draws me in, tells a story in the description. But most importantly, it's telling me exactly what to do next. And so I know for you guys, a lot of times, time is the problem. You don't have enough time. You're doing the customer service. You're doing the sales. You're doing the marketing. And a lot of times what slips is the marketing. But I believe as you design your ads, if you follow this roadmap, this is how you're going to come up with an awe-inspiring ad that really makes an impact that's going to help you drive return on investment. So there you have it, guys. I want to thank you for tuning in. Really appreciate everybody coming online. This will be recorded so you can refer back to it. We're going to send it out to everybody in an email. I'm going to feature it on a landing page for you guys so you can refer back to it as you're creating and writing your ads. If you're looking for daily real estate coaching tips, motivation, please follow us on social media. We really, truly want to give back to all of you guys by just posting free content that helps you in your business. So follow us on Instagram or get on Facebook. Now, I will say that the number one issue I always see in real estate is the lack of time. You just don't have enough time because you're running your whole business. We obviously are here to help you with that. All our clients on the line, these services are available to you. Maybe you don't know this already, but we have an unbelievable in-house creative services department. We can create everything from designs of postcards for you all the way up to banners for your open houses. But we would love to help you with that and take that off of your plate and show you what a listing ad can do for your business that's professionally designed. A great testimonial that I wanted to share with you guys is we had a client who closed his first $1 million home, and he got that listing purely because we had designed an ad for him of a different home and put it on the back cover of his magazine, and he used it in his listing presentation to showcase how he can advertise that person's home and what he brings to the table versus other agents. So we would obviously love to do that for you. We are offering a special offer for all of our webinar viewers. Usually we charge $100 to get a listing ad designed. I want to cut that in half for you guys so you can experience it at $49. Obviously, for those who have done design work before, $99 is an incredible value, but I really want you guys to take advantage and experience what a professionally designed listing ad can do for your business. This deal will be available for 1 week, so please claim it by April 28th. But if you're a client that your magazine's already gone to print and you're online right now, don't worry, you can claim this deal and use it on your next magazine. And then obviously we'd love to help you and get you on the phone with one of your marketing coaches to walk you through this process. And then for all our prospects, we did only allow 100 non-American lifestyle users on this webinar. So we did hit that 100 mark. So thank you guys for joining us. We'd love to extend this promo to you as well. If you would like to take advantage of it and sign up for American Lifestyle Magazine, and we'd love to do this professional listing ad for you. So now to my favorite part of the webinar, which is the questions point. I love to hear some questions that you might have over what I just covered, or some more questions on listing ads in general or American Lifestyle. So if you want to go to your chat box there and throw in some questions, I'm going to open it up to questions at this time. So let's see what we got. All right, so we have a question from Jessica who is saying, what do you do with a headline and a description for a listing that is not the best? That's a great question. I know it's easy to showcase a home that looks like $1 million, but we don't all get that luxury. Sometimes these houses are not the best houses to showcase. You know, I joke because some of our realtors send us their headshots and ask us to make them thinner or put hair on their head, and obviously Photoshop can do tons of things. But what I would bring you back to focus on is the principle of who is the audience that is going to potentially purchase this home. So if the listing doesn't show very well, maybe it's a fixer-upper. Is it an investor that's going to buy this home? You know, who is the audience that's going to buy this home? And that's how you tailor your description. That's how you tailor your headline. You want to think, so if it's an investor, let's just say, because the listing's not there, you know, what's an intriguing statement that you can use? Maybe, you know, an investor's dream, something that's intriguing that's going to cause them to go to the next line and see, what do you mean an investor's dream? You know, so, you know, I know with listings that don't show very well, it's difficult. But you want to tell the story of what that could possibly be. I had mentioned back in the description of expansion possibilities and elaborating on that. So you would want to make sure you tell the story of what this listing could be. All right, let's look into the next question. Using QR codes, out or still in? All right, so mixed views here across the industry, I believe. My personal opinion is out. That's been my personal opinion, and the reason why I say that is because it goes back to the attention span and it goes back to the instant gratification. The problem with QR codes, and I don't discourage them. If you have the real estate and you can put it on the ad, you know, do it. It's not going to hurt you, but at the end of the day, you're causing someone to have to take out their phone, open up the app that can scan that QR code, and then get to that place. And by that time, they probably would have just rather entered in the website in their phone, because everybody's using smartphones these days. So my personal opinion is QR codes are fading away. If you have the real estate, it's not a negative, but I'm not fully for them. All right, next question would be, too many types within ads. Should we worry about that? Great question. So I would definitely say when it comes to your font and when it comes to the typography, you got to be careful that you don't use fonts that clash. And you got to understand that the key to design goes back to that principle of keeping it simple, keeping it clean, because you don't want to distract your prospect on the journey that they're on. And what's the journey that they're on? What's the goal of the journey? The goal is to get them to take action, to get them to that call to action, to take action at that place. So yes, I would not use too many fonts in your ad. It will mess up the design, make it feel more cluttered than it needs to be. All right, next question would be, if I have to pick just listed or just sold? Great question. So I really think it depends on your campaign. I think it depends on what are you trying, you know, what are you farming to? Where are you sending this mailer? What are you using this ad for? That's going to determine whether or not you want to send out a just sold or a just listed. Obviously, I think, you know, when you're targeting a neighborhood that you just sold a home in, you know, I would, you know, encourage you to send a mailer out to all the neighborhood homes that says, I just sold this home for this price, call me to find out what your home can sell for today. So in that scenario, I would say just sold, but in just list it, it depends on your audience and who you're sending to. All right, here, let's see. How important do you think having a personal branding logo is in addition to broker logo? This is a great question because I think it comes back to your overall brand and what you're trying to build. So I encourage like my new agents. So when my brother just got into the business, I use him as an example all the time because I'm working with him so often, trying to learn and all these things. But when my brother first got into the business, it was critical that he used the Keller Williams logo because he didn't have any success stories. He didn't have a track record, but Keller Williams did. And specifically where he was at, that office did. And so it was critical that he used that. But I've encouraged him over time to always showcase his logo because you're trying to build your own company. You're trying to build your brand. And, you know, obviously just being real and transparent with all of you on the line, you might end up leaving the company that you're at now, and you might end up going to another company. And you don't want all of your brand to be associated with just the broker's logo. You want it also to be associated with yours. So this is a great question. I'm getting, can you embed your online magazine into your website? Yes, you definitely can. So we can help you do that, and we can get you on the line with our marketing services, and one of your coaches can help you do that. But yeah, you can definitely use your magazine, embed it in your website. And for those of you who don't know, our prospects on the line, not only do we do obviously a printed version of the magazine, but we do a digital version, and I'm super excited about it. It released not too long ago. But one of our goals setting out for this year was to help our clients connect with more of their relationships, not just their top 50, top 100 with American Lifestyle Magazine, but also their farm. And we knew we had to offer you guys a cost-effective way to do that, and so we came up with our digital version. And keep in mind, we did not want to come up with just a PDF. That was a fear of mine. I did not want to do that. I didn't think that was a lot of value, but we spent a lot of long nights and a lot of energy and effort to create an interactive version of our magazine. So the recipe cards that everybody loves in the printed version, we've made those into recipe videos where you can actually watch the recipe being made. And obviously you get to download the recipe card too from the digital. Our American Lifestyle articles, we've actually go out one issue we take to life, or one article we take to life per issue in ALTV. So we're trying to make it, you know, interactive as much as possible, and then it's trackable. So you can track everybody who, you know, opens it, and it's a perfect opportunity to give them a call, connect with them, build that relationship, and hopefully get referrals. All right, let's see what other questions we have. How do you feel about using an illustrated image versus a photograph in your branded image? All right, so this is a good question, and you know, I'm a very direct person. As you guys, you know, get to know me on my social feed, you know, I'm really real. I don't have much opinion here. My thought process goes to this, is that if your illustrated image is your brand, if it's you trying to tell the story that every time you want people, when they hear your name, so if they hear Luke Akery Real Estate, you know, you want them to think of that illustrated image, I think that's okay. I always think the more humanistic you can be, the more real you can be, because I think business is all about relationships, especially real estate. It's all about relationships. I think it's better, so I would encourage a real photograph, because at the end of the day, you know, that helps them connect to you more humanistically and helps them build a relationship with you, where an illustrated image might put up a wall. Can you design your own insert cards for an additional advertising? Oh, great question. Yeah, our tear-out cards in the magazine. So the printed magazine has 2 tear-out cards, and yes, you can. You can design 2 tear-out cards. You can make them what you would want them to be. Obviously, we have hundreds of choices you can choose from, but you can, yes, you can put your listings on there. You can partner. So if you had, you know, a mortgage professional you wanted to partner with, you could partner with them by putting them on there. I know my brother, we partnered with a lawn mowing company and put it on there, so you could do stuff like that. But yeah, you can design them. You can design them yourself, send it to us as long as it's in the right specs, which we'll send to you. We'll obviously do it for you, put it on there for no charge. If we have to design it for you, there would be a charge for that. It'd be $99. All right, next question is, I have a partner. Can we have a picture of both of us on the cover of the magazine? Yes, you can. Great question. You can definitely have a picture. So we'd love to help you out. If you want to email us the picture that you want on there of both you and your partner, we can definitely do that for you. All right, I am getting a question on the cost of American Lifestyle Magazine. So this is probably one of our prospects on the line. So American Lifestyle Magazine, the printed version, right now we will offer to you guys for $3.79 per magazine. And that would be at a 50 minimum. So that's our best price right now, where we give you $3.79 per magazine at a minimum order of 50. And just doing the quick math for you, it would be $189.50. And keep in mind, when it comes to that cost, it's every 2 months. We are not a monthly subscription, and that's on purpose. We actually have a shelf life of 4 to 6 weeks. So we have found we can be the most effective sending it out every 2 months, but still the most cost effective as well. All right, I'm just looking through to find some more questions here. I really appreciate everybody's engagement. There's a ton of questions coming in, so I really appreciate it. Hopefully you guys want to hear more of these webinars. We're planning to do a lot more. We definitely want to give you guys more information on how to use our products better, but not only just our products, but in the industry, what we're learning. What I love so much about this job is because I work with just about 30,000 agents, every day I'm getting stories, I'm getting testimonials, I'm getting research. We're obviously testing constantly different ideas, but we get to hear how people are using the magazine and how they're, growing their business. So we want to share that across our kind of ecosystem. All right, so I'm going to end with this and say thank you guys so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. This webinar will be available, so you can go back to it and refer to it time and time again as you're doing your listing ads. We would love to do a listing ad for you. Obviously, we're doing a promo for $49, but we would love to show you what our team can do, save you the time and energy. The turnaround for a listing ad is literally only 1 to 2 days on average, so we can crank them out for you as fast as you can get us the ads. And I'd love to show you what a professional listing ad can do, not only to help you sell that listing, but also so you can use it in the future to showcase at your listing presentations. This is what you bring to the table, that you bring to the table not only a high-quality magazine, but you also bring to the table that you can create great listing ads to feature in the magazine and beyond. So guys, thank you so much. I hope you have a great sales day today. Go get some more buyers, and hopefully you sell these homes, and I hope to hear from all of you soon. Thanks.